It's 7 minutes before 5 o'clock. I'm Robin Brown. Well, the provincial government is continuing to take heed over its decision to fund some foreign students who want to study at universities here. A program announced earlier this month would see 75 foreign PhD students each year receive scholarships. Those scholarships would be worth about $140,000 per student spread over the 4 years of their study. Now, the provincial Tories have started a petition aimed at having the program scrapped, and they say that the money should be spent on Ontario students instead. But you won't see my next guest's name on that petition. Sandy Hudson is chair of the Canadian Federation of Students Ontario chapter, and she joins us now here in the studio to explain why the students' organization actually likes this program. Good afternoon, Sandy. Thanks for coming in.
Hi, thank you.
Now, why do you think this is a good program?
Well, I think the students of Ontario recognize that the excessive tuition fee increases that we've seen over the years means that all students need more financial aid, and we reject the petition that tries to pit students against each other. I mean, the reality is when we're looking for international students to attend our institutions, we're looking for the best students. And the best doesn't necessarily mean the wealthiest. And what we should be doing is recognizing that the barriers for low and middle income students, whether they're coming from another country or within this province, are the same. It's tuition fee increases, and we should be providing financial aid for both.
In the case of foreign students coming here to Ontario universities, though, what's the point of funding their study if at the end of obtaining their PhD, they go home and work and do research in their home countries?
Well, in fact, actually, the research shows that upwards of 80% of international students remain living in Ontario, and so are going to be contributing to the tax base, they're going to be contributing to our economy. And so, actually, I mean, through our research, what we found is that represents $150,000 of savings per international students to the Ontario taxpaying base, because we haven't actually paid for their education from K to 12, right? And so it's actually a net benefit to us to make sure that we are funding or ensuring that international students are able to study here.
Let me go back to the beginning a little bit for the foreign students. Do they have higher expenses to begin with?
Yes, absolutely. So the average tuition fees for domestic undergraduate students is $6,300. For graduate students is $9,500, and for international students is $18,000.
So that's where the scholarship money obviously comes in.
Yeah.
What would you say, though, to students here in Ontario who wonder maybe why students from foreign countries are getting supported financially with government money in many cases when they themselves are being denied grants?
Well, what we need to be focusing on is making sure that the government is providing financial aid opportunities for all students, because the reality is that tuition fees have gone up so much in the last few years that many students are finding it harder and harder to attend post-secondary education. So we need to be making sure that we are putting pressure on the government to continue to implement these programs, which are seeking to make access a priority for students.
Is it advantageous for local students to have foreign students in their classes?
Absolutely. I mean, a diversity of voices, and to ensure that we're having the smartest voices no matter where we're coming from, and more innovative ideas. It's absolutely an incredible opportunity to ensure that we're providing opportunities for international students. Yeah.
What have you been hearing from students about this issue? It's been announced a few weeks ago. People have had a chance to hear about it. What are you hearing from students?
I've talked to several students about it. I mean, I've been in the last couple of weeks up at Laurentian, at Lakehead, at Ryerson, at University of Toronto. I have not heard one student say anything about this program that is in any way disparaging. Students are happy to hear that the government is doing something to ensure that students are able to access financial aid. We just want to make sure that these scholarships are based on a financial need, and so that's where our messaging comes in for the government.
Rather than it's not necessarily the smartest applying, it's those most in need applying. That's what you'd like to see.
Well, we would like to see it all, students who are smart able to access scholarships as well. But what we're saying is that let's give this money to folks who need it the most, right?
Do you, in your association, do you represent foreign students?
Yes, absolutely. We represent students, any student who attends a post-secondary education who's a member of our organization, yeah.
And have you been hearing from them about the fact that rising tuition here is a detriment to people coming to study here?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, what we have to recognize is that international tuition fees are not regulated in any way by the government. And so students I went to the University of Toronto, and 1 year music students who are international students were facing 25% increase in their tuition fees, and that's not something that they planned for. It's not something they had any way of knowing was going to come down the pipe. And then when we also factor in the economic crisis and the fact that currencies are changing, it becomes a very volatile situation for international students, and many find that they can't continue.
Sandy, thanks for telling us about it today. Thanks for coming in.
No problem. Thank you.
Sandy Hudson is chair of the Ontario chapter of the Canadian Federation of Students. And here's Jim.
Called just a moment.